welcome to the Wrestling Sheet Radio's Raw Recap. I'm your host, ProWrestlingSheet.com, Editor-in-Chief Ryan Satin. Here with my guest today, Jay Washington. I'm glad you were able to step in. Weird handshake I did there.
That was weird. Let's get it right this time. I mean, it was weird. It was like a relationship handshake almost. I was like, what?
Yeah, last week I tried to get Jay in here, but he was when the same day I had Vinny come in, but he was already on his way to Comic-Con the next day. It wasn't going to be able to happen. So right when Roca told me he couldn't come in today, I was like, oh, Jay better be able to step in today because now he doesn't have this Comic-Con excuse.
This is true. Like, what you got? I'm still in San Diego. Like, just start lying.
I'm just still partying down here with some furries. Shit got crazy in San Diego. You know how it goes. How was San Diego? Was it good?
San Diego was good. It was busy. It was nonstop busy. I was doing interviews and coverage all week, and then on top of parties, and I walked over 100,000 steps.
Oh, God.
I've never walked that much in my life. I think my phone thinks I was being chased by the police or a slave walking to freedom. One of the two.
I'm a pretty tied to my phone guy where I'm like always kind of looking at my phone. But, man, I was at lunch or brunch or whatever with my mom in Palm Springs this weekend during the Hall H Marvel stuff, and I was just glued to my phone, just like refreshing Hall H.
That's how it is. Yeah, just all you got to do is keep refreshing. It was because like me and BC Campbell, we were sitting there covering it. We were dual covering it, so everything he would give me, like I could see some of the live feed. We took somebody snuck a live feed, so I could see it, and I'm still trying to put stories.
You had someone the whole time that snuck a live feed in?
Yeah, I know how to do it.
That's good. No, because I was watching one. And I watched it up until, God, it was quick. They had like the Eternal stuff and then like maybe one other thing. And then the person just goes, you just heard the person go, oh, no, I'm not filming. No, I'm definitely not filming. Like, crump off. And you're like, shit, no, I was watching that. No. It was really cool. The Mahershala Ali stuff was dope, dude. Like, I was like, I wasn't expecting that. That was cool.
Nobody was. It came out like a first round NBA draft pick. Like,
and just the most, I don't know if you saw the interview that Kevin Feige did afterwards, and we'll get to the rest of it after this, but I thought it was the most baller move where it was just like, Mahershala Ali called us and said he wanted a meeting. So we met with him, and he sat down and said, I want to be Blade. And we were like, cool, done.
Well, that was because he won 2 Academy Awards. You won't tell him no?
No, of course. I mean, that's why even Kevin Feige said, he just won 2 Academy Awards. If he comes to you and says he wants to do a part, you're going to say yes. So we're like, yeah, totally. And like, it was known that they had just gotten Blade back or whatever. Yep. So, I mean, it made sense. But yeah, that's going to be cool. I'm into that.
It'll be nice to see what happens. Like, everybody's like, oh, but it's not going to be until phase 5. He'll be X amount of years old. That doesn't mean that he can't film the movie before it comes. But that's totally not what we're here for, because I can go into that full
As much as there was a reunion of sorts at Hall H with bringing old characters back like Blade and Fantastic Four and the Mutants, we had the Raw reunion this week for wrestling fans, and it kicked off with John Cena, the Dr. Thugonomics, coming out to the ring. He actually got a pretty big pop. I think that, absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Absence and the fact that you've announced you've been in the Suicide Squad, Fast and Furious 9, and like 7 other movies. I'm like, oh, he's a superstar. So it's like, but it is the fact that we don't see Cena.
Yeah, totally.
And then even to an extent, there were some fans that were trying to get the Cena sucks chant going just because it's what he's used to, and he likes it now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was cool to see him come out, and it was fun. It was fun. And then to watch the Usos come out was dope, and the rap battle.
It was brief, but I loved how when so the Usos come out and they're like trying to goad him into a rap battle or whatever, and then he finally obliges, and it cracked me up when he called them out on their mug shots.
And they couldn't help but laugh, because I don't blame him. He was like, y'all both get arrested. I was like, it was like, all right. But that's the beautiful thing about the Usos and a lot of guys and girls in the back, that family environment that they always are talking about. Mm-hmm. We hear about drama and beef and politics. That's what any entertainment business, no matter what. But when you're stuck around people like that for 200-something days a year, you have to have fun in moments you can.
Oh yeah,
you have to, and so that was just pure unadulterated fun right there.
Absolutely. And then also if it's Cena giving you a hard time like that, you're gonna take it. He's a legend, at this point.
I'm not gonna lie, I was like, is Cena gonna wrestle? Because I thought
But here's the thing: is I got that feeling to her. Like, is he gonna at least come in and do like an F5 on the or attitude adjustment on the F5? I was thinking FU, the attitude adjustment on the Revival or something like that. But then, so Rikishi comes out. They do the dance. They're about to do the dance thing. Revival come out with Devon Dudley for some reason.
Okay, can we talk about this for a second, ladies and gentlemen? I tweeted about this. I said I understand the reason Bubba didn't come. It's because of his contract with ROH.
Of course.
I get it. However, that looked terrible.
It looked so weird.
It just looked weird as hell having Devon Dudley out there.
Was the point... Okay, because I've been trying to figure this out. Do you think that the point they were trying to establish by having Devon there, which, yes, you're right, looks very confusing without Bubba Ray when he's in the full Dudley attire.
Even just seeing the Titantron just say Devon Dudley.
Was so weird. You might as well just put him in like the Reverend thing.
You might as well have made him Reverend Devon.
You know?
That would have been a hell of a lot better than having Devon Dudley, because if you did Reverend Devon, that is the established singles gimmick he had at the WWE.
Yeah.
I could live with that.
Yeah, and we don't see Reverend Devon very often.
What you mean, Vera? We've never seen Reverend Devon again after Deacon Batista whooped his ass. So let's not forget that.
But okay, do you think that what they were trying to establish by having Devon there was that he's a legendary tag team wrestler, and so he was giving them like his approval because he's like a famous tag team guy?
You sound like somebody that was probably in the writer's room that was reaching for this line. So Vince, what we can do is
because you always see Scott Dawson being like, when someone's talking shit on Twitter, he's always like, yeah, we'll stick with being approved by, Arn Anderson, this person, that person, Michael Hayes. He's always naming famous tag team guys. So do you think that's the only thing I can think of? And I'm not trying to WWE explain here because I also thought it was
weird. Did you say WWE?
Yeah.
Look, I get it's just that it's weird. It's something you wanted to have Devon a part of it. Devon is in the back in production. For those who don't know, he is sitting in Gorilla every show.
He probably works in the tag teams on tag team stuff.
He probably works tag team stuff. He is in Gorilla on I'm to be like, yo, I'm gonna have you on camera. I would have rather them told Billy Kidman, go grab some jean shorts. I honestly would have rather them told Billy Kidman that because it just looked weird.
It did. No, all my friends that I'll usually text with during like Raw and Smackdown or whatever, or pay-per-views, it was all of us like, it looks really weird seeing Devon without Bubba Ray in full Dudley attire. It looks like he's doing the whole thing.
I was like, who are you gonna tell to get a table? Like, what are you? I get it.
And then I thought at the end that he was gonna turn at least. Like then it was gonna make a little more sense. Like he was gonna not be a fan of the Revival and he was gonna hit them and then do the 3D with one of the Usos or something. But then, they just he kind of caused that distraction by accident almost with Rikishi, and then the super kick happens, splash happens, Revival lose, Usos win, and there's no real payoff. He just kind of helps them go away. Oh, and also I forgot to leave out the fact that John Cena just pieced out during the commercial break.
Oh man, he was like, I was just paid to be here for this 3 minutes. I'm gone.
He's like, yo, I got to get back to the Fast and the Furious.
Like they just look. Literally,
I know they halted production because of that accident, but we're back on tomorrow.
We're back on tomorrow. And that's literally what it was. I got to be up at like 4 a.m. So like I'm gonna just throw these knee pads back. Like he probably borrowed somebody's knee. I'm really sure that most of that stuff he had on was not his.
No,
right?
like they got an extra pair of jean shorts just like in the production area, just in case John shows up.
They go grab one of his
drawer. They pull out where it's just all of these crisp jean shorts for John.
They grab one of the t-shirts from merchandise in the 100%.
Grab one of the hats. They got him. He's good to go.
Some guy they was like, look, you ain't using your knee pads. Give me here real quick.
Totally.
Give me here real quick.
You're in catering all night tonight. Just give me your knee pads for 3 minutes.
You getting paid the whole day. Look, don't worry. You getting paid. Just give me your knee pads.
But they did give up they did make it look for a second like Cena was gonna wrestle, and then he just I meant to bring that up earlier. He just pieced out during the commercial break.
He just bounced during the commercial break. Because I think that's what if you saw when the Revival were coming out, the camera panned to Rikishi, Cena, and the Usos for a hot second. Cena's in the back telling them something he about to do. And all you see is them come out. Here comes Devon. Next thing you know, where's John Cena? Anybody know where Cena went? Anybody?
In my group chat, I was like, is Cena gonna wrestle? And then when I came back from the break. She's like, wait, where'd he go?
Cena
you
was
can't
like,
see him. You can't see him.
You can't see him leave either.
Oh, and then we got our first shot of Hulk Hogan of the night right there.
Yeah, so I have thought. Look,
yeah, go for it.
Okay, I know everybody's going to say, well, you should get over it. He apologized. No, I'm not.
Well, I'm never going to tell.
I'm not.
It's the worst thing to tell a player. You should get over a guy saying the N-word and saying he's racist just because he apologized.
And then just because he apologized. No, you meant that from your heart. The reason Hogan apologized, and I'm going to say it, you can be mad in the comments if you want. Go ahead. You can say Jay's racist if you want. Go ahead. But everybody who knows me knows getting damn well that ain't possible. But Hogan said that with his heart. Hogan said he apologized because he needed to come back. He needed to stay relevant in the WWE universe. Nobody else was using Hulk Hogan. The NWA, ROH, before AEW was a thing, none of them were going to use Hogan. Yeah. Impact wasn't bringing Hogan back. So he needed something to stay relevant, and he needs the WWE. And so they were like, you're going to have to issue an apology. And yeah, he had to talk to all the black wrestlers in the back, who they say all accepted his apology, because why? You have to. You have to. If you're the guys and the girls in the back, you got to be like, yeah, we're cool. Cool.
Also, if you don't, I feel like, especially with social media in this day and age, you know, to the guys who initially didn't like, you know, New Day.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like they have kind of gone back on that now, not in like a bad way, but in like dude, their social media is blown up every time Hulk Hogan is on screen, and they're not the ones making the decision. So it's like, yeah, no, we've accepted him at this point, you know, we've accepted it at this point. We're going to move.
It's similar to the Lars Sullivan situation.
Totally.
So, you know, but the difference is, yeah, people will put Hulk Hogan as this icon status, and I will not discredit anything he's done for the wrestling business or industry. I will never take that away. But when those real feelings came out, now granted, it's a lot more. I've heard a lot more and know about a lot more that y'all have never heard. But there's a lot more, but it's just that you just like, all right, he apologized, we move forward. And I think I get why they do it, because of the business move. I just think it really is like it's a really sore spot.
No, I totally understand. I mean, it's similar, you know, I also think it's, you know, and not to get like political or anything like that, but you know, my girlfriend and my mom and I were talking over the weekend, over the weekend's Tuesday now, but over the weekend, we were talking about like the whole go back to your country stuff. Yeah. And, you know, my girlfriend's just a white girl from the Valley or whatever. And, you know, she's never dealt with like racism or anything like that. And my mom and I are, you know, my mom's Hispanic, I'm Mexican and Jewish or whatever. So like it's different. And so, you know, we were talking about how if you've never experienced someone saying go back to your country or something of that nature, like you don't know what it feels like. You don't know what that feels like. To see that amplified to that degree by someone who's supposed to be held in such high regard. It's crazy.
And then granted, that's not what Hogan said, but to say, I don't want my daughter dating the N-word. If it's a multi-rich 8-foot N-word, I'd be okay with that. And then just say, well, you know, we're all a little racist. That just doesn't fly. So again, like I said, it's a sore spot seeing Hogan on TV paraded around like nothing happened.
Well, I mean, then we'll get to the whole Hogan segment later, because I do want to discuss that in more detail. But to finish that point I was trying to make is that like if it's the same way, is that like for some people those kind of things dig deep, you know, and like it's not an easy thing to be like, oh, he said sorry, okay, I'm over it. Like, let's go listen to "I'm a Real American" on repeat.
Fight for the rights of every man.
And we'll get to the full Hogan segment a little bit, but I do know that my girlfriend, you know, and she is, like I said, never dealt with racism, but she has strong feelings towards Hulk Hogan and the things he said. And so, like, same way. When he hit the screen, she was just like, ugh. So I can only imagine.
I would like to say, though, how whatever product they're giving Jimmy Hart to keep his hair that damn luxurious, people need to invest in that all over the world. Jimmy Hart is like 937 years old with long flowing black hair.
Have you ever did you watch that Legends House show when it was on that he was
I watched it once or twice.
There was a whole segment, if I recall, on like what he does to get his hair looking like that every morning. It's a whole process. Like he's got a whole thing he does to make it look as beautiful, like to give the effect of looking as beautiful as it is. It's actually, I'll find it for you because it's good.
You, Jimmy Hart.
Because I'm also always impressed by his hair. I'm always like, man, I hope I got like cool hair like that dude when I'm that age.
I shave intentionally. It's not because I am going bald. It's because I just like being bald. It's easier. But if I could grow beautiful, luxurious, flow in the wind, Tide breeze commercial hair that would stay jet black when I am like 974, I would want that. So bless you, Jimmy Hart.
Bless Jimmy Hart indeed.
Also, did you notice something that they did do during the commercial break of the Usos? I meant to bring up during the Usos revival match. We got the picture-in-picture.
I did notice that. Okay. I hope that someone at USA was like, this whole thing is stupid you guys have been doing. We'll just steal the thing you guys do with Smack. Well, it's still USA, so we'll just do the thing we do on SmackDown with picture-in-picture.
Which I don't know why they just didn't do it. You're still going to air your commercials the same. You're still going to get that advertisement money. You don't slow. Everybody knows when you heard this edict of no wrestling during commercial breaks. All right, I guess. Then we started doing everything a 2 out of 3 falls, whether it be some way or another, whether it's directly 2 out of 3 falls, elimination, restart a match, something like that. But to show it during, granted they didn't do much, but they showed it.
It made such a difference.
Made such a difference.
It was a night and day, because honestly, if this tag team match had been like 2 out of 3 falls, I would have rolled my eyes. But the fact that it wasn't, I was like, okay, I'll accept it for what it was. And it wasn't like it was a long match or anything like that.
Which also, I know we're going back, but nobody announced. At first, we thought Rikishi and Devon were part of the match because they both were on the aprons at first, like they were getting tagged. Then all of a sudden, Rikishi's gone and Devon's gone. I was like, somebody needs to explain this. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because I forgot about it. I'm sorry about that.
And we didn't get a stink face, did we?
No.
Like, what? You were going to trot out Rikishi and not do a stink face? Come on.
Look, Biggles.
Mike Kanellis was back there somewhere. They could have done it. I'm shocked that he wasn't the one that just got hit with every finisher known to mankind
just
from all
just to have Maria walk out and say,
like, you're not a man. All these old dudes beat you up. Although that happens later in the show anyways to other people, so we'll get to that. We had Alicia Fox backstage with Caitlyn, Dana Brooke, Tori Wilson. And Tori Wilson, man, it's like she has like
been stuck in time.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
She's the one. She is never. It's like she's never aged.
It's insane.
It's like I'm like, wait. When was the last? I mean, granted, we saw her at Evolution.
You've seen her a couple times now recently.
Yeah, but it's like she's never aged from when she was a full-time, competitor.
It's crazy.
It's surreal.
Every time she's out there, I'm just like, how has she not aged? And God bless her. I mean, clearly, if you follow her on social media, she's all about her fitness. I mean, she is still killing the game or whatever. But God, it's insane when you see her, because it's like, how did she figure out the fountain of youth?
Yeah,
where is it?
And I know people may be thinking, well, what's wrong with it? There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we do know that life happens to everybody.
Yeah.
People live their lives, and Tori has still lived her life from the time she was in the WWE full time. But the fact she doesn't look like she's really aged, like maybe a month or so. Yeah. It doesn't look anything like you look like.
You can put her next to all the female wrestlers right now, and she would look like she fits right in.
She fits right in.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I was like, okay.
Like perfect shape still, looks the same, everything. It's crazy.
And does Alicia Fox still have a job?
She's still there, yeah.
Okay, because it was kind of confusing at first the way they did it.
That's what my friend texted it too. She's like, how is she considered a legend now, Alicia Fox? She was in the legend segment, and then, Santino comes up and Drew McIntyre comes over and looks at them and he's like, legends. And then he walks away or whatever. Yeah, that was confusing for a second, but I'm pretty sure she's just active roster right now.
I just was wondering.
Yeah, and I did like that was a running theme throughout the night of the heels all disliking that there was this reunion show going on.
And that was perfect to keep doing it, because it maintained a solid storyline, and it worked, because we were trying to push regular storylines leading to SummerSlam, but instead of just having Raw reunion where you just throw people in and just like, well, such and such is here.
Yeah.
It's a reason. There's a storyline behind it. So I actually commend production and the writing team for that.
Me too. Absolutely. And then the 24/7 antics began, which honestly, I don't care. I loved it. I loved all the 24/7 antics throughout the night. I love the 24/7 title stuff.
The fact that Drake and Truth did something at Comic-Con was the best.
So good.
And I can't tell you the amount of times I partied with Drake Maverick, which, by the way, party's hard.
This weekend?
Yes. Drake Maverick is so cool. Like, he showed me the stuff they had done on IGN before it fully dropped. He showed me that. Then we partied with Xavier Woods. It was cool, but it was like, yo, I was like, I figured they were gonna do something, because somebody was like, Drake's here, and I was like, okay, it makes sense.
Oh yeah, right when he showed up and he was handing out flyers and he went to the WWE panel, I was like, oh, something's gonna happen.
It makes sense. Yeah.
It was smarter than the way they did it to do that with IGN. That was very smart of them.
Very smart.
Yeah, that was great. And just like I enjoyed all that content all weekend, I loved the 24/7 title stuff. I thought it was the best way that the legends were used all night.
Let's go back to when this title was first incepted, when Mick Foley
Which we got a throwback to last night.
When this title was first incepted, everybody looked at the belt, heard the stipulation, and was like, what no.
Yeah.
This is going to be terrible. Now this has become one of the most fun, ongoing things they have. And you
I
literally...
look forward to it more than anything.
And you literally have to give credit to both R-Truth, Carmella, both R-Truth, Carmella, Renee, and Drake Maverick. They have kept this going. It has not gotten stale by any means.
No.
You know, and the fun thing about it is, again, including the legends make this perfect because we got a first out of it when you included the legends.
Yes, we did. So, we have so R-Truth and Carmella are backstage. They're talking to Charlie Caruso. And then, Drake Maverick's wife, Renee, shows up and she's, scolding Truth for ruining their life. And then she goes back and forth with Carmella when suddenly Drake Maverick appears. He rolls up R-Truth, gets the pin, runs off. And then, that's the start of things so far. We also had Godfather walk in for a quick second there.
Okay.
Which his music is still the best. I love it.
No. So when I tweeted you and Rogan, because Rogan and I had talked about this, was like, if they bring the Godfather back, we all knew his music started out, come get on the whole train. I was like, we can't do this day and age.
No.
So he was like, Charlie, you know what time it is. He said it's time for and luckily the audience said it, because I was like, what will happen if the Godfather says, will he lose his car dealership in Vegas? Because
doesn't he also work at a strip club?
And he owns a strip club.
Yeah.
And he's a strip
club. I feel like the fact that he runs a strip club and all that, I feel like he gets a pass.
Well, he
can say it.
I mean, again, the
banking on to mean strippers, but I feel like it's
I know I get what you're saying because of the gimmick that he's always had, and I understand. Yes, it's a different day and age. We evolve. I get it, but we played on nostalgia. Even, on every level. And I was like, are we going to get on the whole train? Are we? I was like, well, we kind of did. So.
Yeah, I love Boogeyman. I'm sorry, not Boogeyman. I was looking forward to it. I love The Godfather, dude. The Godfather is seriously, he's the best.
He looked like he could do 1 or 2 good matches if he wanted to.
I'd love it. I'd be so into it.
I'll be here. No, matter of fact, don't give me the Godfather. Give me Papa Shango. Just give me.
Yeah, you're more of a Papa Shango mark, it seems.
You know what? It's because we didn't get a lot of that like we should have.
Yeah.
I mean, we've done different iterations of it. The best thing the Papa Shango angle had going was the possession of the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah.
And if we could have gone a little bit further with the character, really built on it, that was kind of dope. Could you imagine a tag team just for the moment of the Boogeyman and Papa Shango?
That'd be wild.
That would be the stuff that nightmares are made of.
Have them go in the Firefly Funhouse with Bray Wyatt.
Do you realize how much grown men and women would not sleep after seeing that?
Wait, speaking of horror, before I move on to this next part, I'm pumped about since we were talking about Marvel earlier, that the fact that Marvel is doing
Doctor
a horror
Strange
movie
and into the Multiverse of Madness will be a horror movie, ladies and gentlemen.
That's so cool.
God bless America.
That's going to be so cool. I love that they use Doctor Strange to kind of try things out.
Well, you had an avenue in the first Doctor Strange with Caecilius, the dark look, going and trying to get the Dormammu stuff, and you okay, you could be dark, but they were like, we're going to use this one.
Yeah.
We're going to use the Magician, the Sorcerer Supreme to go horror, and I'm like, let's do this.
Yeah, me too. I'm big, let's do this. I'm like, yeah. Into that, when I saw that during lunch, I was like, oh yeah. I showed it to my girlfriend, oh yeah. She was pumped too. So then we get Drew McIntyre versus Cedric Alexander, and honestly, I thought this was great. So we have Drew McIntyre come out. He's angry. He attacks Cedric before he comes to the ring. Alexander fights back. We got a little bit of offense from Cedric Alexander before Drew McIntyre ends up doing the reverse Alabama slam thing onto the apron, and he leaves. The reason I like this is because I still feel like it's doing a good job building up Cedric Alexander.
It is building up Cedric perfectly.
If they had just come out here and it had been 50-50'd where Cedric comes out, Drew McIntyre hits him with the Claymore real fast, and then bang, bang, bang,
that'd have been the end of the whole storyline.
What was the whole point of all of this? And,
right.
and I think, and I've been kind of defending it to a certain degree of hey guys, let's reserve judgment a little bit, because this is all getting Cedric Alexander screen time against someone who WWE Vince McMahon perceives as a top guy.
Right.
So that's good. Right. He was in that mob of 24/7 title people.
For the longest running.
Yeah, not that long ago, And
he was one of those dudes that when the shakeup happened, had his own vignette of him coming to Raw.
And people were pumped.
And we never got him. And so to get him in the program with Shane, that in turn put him in the program with Drew McIntyre, you're going to have Drew dominate him at one point. You have Cedric with the quick win out of nowhere first. You have Drew with the dominance that isn't even a match in a sense, and now you're going to have something potentially at SummerSlam that'll give you a full match with those two.
Yep. That like the seeds have actually been planted well here.
A story has been built up.
Yeah.
You know, and we talk about that a lot as wrestling fans, wrestling pundits, and wrestlers, that we don't see a lot of stories built up. This is an actual story that's been built up the way some stories should be. Everything does not have to revolve around a title, a push to a title, a chase to a title, anything. It's just a regular story.
It's a reason for this guy and this guy to want to fight each other.
A heel versus face.
100%. That's how I feel about it. It's like, look at like, this is a good thing. It's elevating Cedric Alexander. It's giving Drew McIntyre something to do with a talented individual who he's going to put on dope matches with.
Yep.
You know, it takes Drew McIntyre away from like having to repeatedly be Shane McMahon's lackey. Yeah, his heavy hand. You know, or just in constant matches with Roman Reigns. You know, I think this is a good thing all around.
It's a great thing because Drew, the thing people say is, well, I want to see Drew McIntyre work more. You're going to see him work with Cedric Alexander. Drew can work with the smaller guys. And that's the good thing about this program. Yeah, we don't get these long matches on Raw. We're not supposed to if you're building this storyline right. We get it at SummerSlam. Granted, they may give them 10 to 12, if that. But they'll put on a solid match.
Yeah, I've seen Drew McIntyre wrestle awesome matches with little guys, with smaller dudes, you know, in PWG when I used to see him when he was kind of like reforming himself. And, you know, I heard an interview he did, I want to say it was with Sam Roberts, where he talked about his match in PWG against Speedball Mike Bailey was really like, where he kind of like started to feel in his own on the indies. And honestly, that match was awesome. I remember it, and I really feel like he could have a similar, just dope, like David versus Goliath style match with a guy like Cedric Alexander. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I hope it's a SummerSlam match. I hope that's the direction it's going, because that'd be huge for Cedric Alexander. So then we get Drake Maverick, his first loss of the night. We got Drake Maverick. He's sneaking around, he's doing his thing, and the boogeyman shows up. And he falls down, sells like that he's in pain on his back. The lighting changed, Boogeyman's gone, but Pat Patterson is there. Former hardcore champion Pat Patterson.
First Intercontinental champion.
That too. He kicks Maverick, puts his foot on him, pins him, gets the 1-2-3. Pat Patterson, first IC champion, is now 24/7 champion at this point in the match, which I loved. The Attitude Era kid in me went like, oh, this is just like the hardcore title.
That's
I love it.
That's what it, and they did it like this.
Yeah.
And it was fun because
Totally.
we've always been talking, they've always said it can happen anywhere at any time. And it happened. And it was, I think the whole Drake hurt his back hitting the wall played too well. At first I was like, did he really hurt his back the way he hit it? I was like, eh. But the whole Pat Patterson thing works.
He sold that kick from Patterson like $1 million too.
He didn't oversell it. He just sold it like.
He sold it so well, as if like Pat Patterson could still kick someone that hard. You know, he's like limping around backstage, and he hits up. Oh, he like got hit like. Oh, it was great. I loved it. Then we had Viking Raiders versus Hawkins and Ryder. Quick match. The Viking Raiders win. Yeah, good stuff. What'd you think? Well,
Okay.
It was short, but
First of all,
I liked it.
Christian on commentary was cool.
So good. He could honestly be permanent. I
Let
was
me
loving
keep
it.
Christian on a desk. I forgot Edge is filming Vikings because I would have loved to seen Edge either come out with the Viking. It would have been best to see. First, I was like, I want to see him with the old Edge heads, but him filming Vikings to come out with the Viking Raiders would have been something so dope. And
He could have switched to. He could have done both.
He could have done both. He could have been an Edge head, and all of a sudden he just has a Vikings
that's what I was
t-shirt
thinking,
on or something like that. But I get why you did it. The sad part is, how long do we have to have the Viking Raiders wallow in the circle? And I say this because we already know they're dominant. We get it. We've established it.
Yeah.
When do we finally say, all right, you're going to go for a title push?
It's a good question.
Because it's got to happen. You can't just they're running through everybody. They're going to run through everybody. It's a given.
See, that's why I don't mind putting them up against enhanced talent like they did with Braun later in the night, because I think as long as you're like keeping them in the awareness of everybody, it's fine.
I'm fine with that. But we've been talking, the way they pump the Viking Raiders up, they need to have a challenge for real.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Everybody they've been up against, we already know they're not challenging.
Well, they started like up here and they're quickly going down.
Right, the pump up and the adrenaline behind their debut was great, and then they go down. It's like, all right, give me something.
Yeah.
Give me something, and you didn't. And so I think that's the only thing for me. Like, I'm not discredited. Yo, Ivar is amazing. Eric, they both are great as a team. But I think we just the fan base wants to see them do something like, all right, give me somebody that's going to give them a match. You knew Hawkins and Ryder ain't have a chance in hell against the Viking Raiders. You knew it weren't going.
Well, especially when you know someone like the Office of Painters backstage. You could put them in a program with Authors of Pain right now, and people would be into it.
But I think the problem with that is who's the face, who's the heel, and also because Drake Maverick isn't with them.
Yeah.
And then you need to because you got to have a mouthpiece. You have to.
Authors of Pain could be good guys, dude. Like
You still need a mouthpiece out there between the two of them.
Fair.
You need a mouthpiece.
But like, man, I've seen videos that Razor posts, and it's just like, dude, that guy looks like he could kick some ass, dude. Wait,
Yeah, he's a former
Razor,
like
right?
Bellator fighter.
I'm talking about the right one, right?
I think it's look, I don't know.
Razor. Yeah, I picked the right one.
He's a
Yeah.
Bellator fighter.
He was like, dude, he posts videos of doing MMA sometimes where I'm like, dude, just give that guy a singles push and he'll ruin some fools. Like, he'll kill people.
I would have loved to see Razor versus Brock Lesnar and see how
give it to
Brock
me.
treats him.
It's exactly what I tweeted. I was like, give me Razor versus Brock, dude.
Yeah, I never saw that tweet, but damn it, we think alike.
I also loved on commentary with Christian. He had two lines that popped me. One was he said something like they said, which one of you is better, Edge or Christian? And he was like, well, Edge isn't here.
Edge isn't here. I'm here, yeah.
And then the other one was when he said like after they lost, he said like, well, maybe if Hawkins and Ryder had been the Christian heads, they would have won.
They would have won over there. I was like, whoa.
I loved that so much. Oh, he also said it's a good thing Zack Ryder has still here on his tights, or otherwise I wouldn't remember, or something like that. That one killed me too. I was like, oh man, he's just going for it. It was only a 2-minute match, and he was just firing shots at behind the desk.
Because it's crazy because they've been there just about as long as, they were there maybe 3-4 years after the two of them debuted. Mm-hmm. But they still been there, and Christian and Edge are just like, we really don't need this. Like, Edge, granted, we know why he had to retire.
Yeah.
But Christian is like, I'm good. The Edge and Christian podcast that we do, good on that one.
I'm actually interested to see how HBK does tonight on commentary for Smackdown. He's going to be on commentary all night tonight, apparently.
That's going to be terrifying.
Apparently, he's been training for the Performance Center.
Okay, because I was saying, remember when Shawn Michaels used to try to do commentary? Nobody could tell me Shawn Michaels back in the day on commentary was good. You were like, oh, okay, Shawn, you're good for a match. A match.
That's honestly why I'm so interested. Because he said when he tweeted it, he said I think he said hashtag I've been practicing or something like that.
Well, that's the one thing you got to give credit to the Performance Center for. Shouts out to John Quasto. They have training classes to ensure you for every single level of everything you need to do. Even though if you're an advanced on something, we want to make sure you're completely sharp. Mm-hmm. The desk is not as easy as it looks like because you can't watch the ring. If you ever watch the commentators, they have to watch the monitors. So you literally have to call the match like a fan watching it. Mm-hmm. And so Shawn Michaels has to take himself out of the wrestler and watch this match.
Yep. That's not easy to do.
That's not. No.
That's why I'm so interested to see what happens, because it's like you said, he's been very more missed than hit in the past.
Yeah.
So I'm when it comes to commentary, and I love HBK. But yeah, I'm interested for sure to see how he does tonight. Hopefully it's like Christian. Hopefully
it is.
I forget which part of the show this was, but I'll probably forget it later. That shot from Corey Graves when Coachman did guest commentary, and Renee said something to him, and then he said and he fired something back, and Graves said, oh, you trying to get revenge at Renee for stealing your job? And I was like, oh, damn. I was like, damn.
But at the same time, the coach went to ESPN.
No, he left ESPN to come back to WWE. Well, I think he got fired from ESPN.
Oh, he got fired. Well,
now he's doing golf things, I think.
Oh, now you're doing golf in the OC. That makes sense. Because he's like, I live in the OC.
We'll get to the OC tonight very soon, actually.
Oh, dear God.
So the Legends Party continues backstage. We got, and shout out to ProWrestling.net, who I'm reading their recap for part of this because I didn't have time to make notes. I was running a little late this morning. So shout out to them for their recap. I always love reading their stuff on their website. But we have the Legends Party going on backstage. Mike Kanellis is talking to Eve Torres, Eric Bischoff, who got a pretty big pop. And then Maria Kanellis comes in, starts scolding Mike Kanellis. Bischoff says something about maybe the two of them want to come to SmackDown to play off of the fact that he's the executive director of SmackDown now, wearing all blue as well. Then there's the whole pregnant belly lotion stuff, and she walks off, and we have Ron Simmons with a very classic damn, in my opinion, where he comes up
megaphone.
With a megaphone. That was so funny. And you know what's great is I was watching my girlfriend who is not aware of the Ron Simmons gimmick.
Okay.
She started watching like with me when she started dating me, and she likes it now. But the damn thing is lost on her. So she was like, one, what the fuck did I just watch? And two, why are you laughing so much at it? And I was dying at the damn with the megaphone thing. Also, did you see the Burger King ad during the show?
With Ron Simmons and Alexa Bliss?
Yeah. If my girlfriend had that reaction during this segment of like, why was that funny? I feel like the normal Burger King audience is gonna be very confused by that commercial.
What's the big black dude and the little white girl doing?
Why is her hair weirdly colored? What's this damn thing?
I don't know. I wonder how often will they run that ad outside of WWE programming.
I hope they run it everywhere, and Dan becomes like like 20 years later becomes a phenomenon where everyone's into Ron Simmons' damn thing, and he makes so much money.
Burger King introduces the damn Whopper
to the mainstream. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, classic damn, right?
Yes,
with the
classic.
megaphone.
Yes, you gotta. I mean, you knew he was gonna tell him damn, but the fact he looked at Jimmy Hart and took the microphone and you heard it, I felt sorry for the sound guys. And those are the only, because they were popping and levels were through the roof because it was already loud.
It's how bad I feel when I'm doing Wrestling Sheet Radio and Jamie, who's not great with microphones, my co-host, starts screaming into the microphone, and I'm like, don't do that. So many complaints I'm gonna get from people when you start screaming. It's one thing to have a loud voice and be animated, but when you scream, it's not gonna help anything. I 100%. Those guys back there are like, damn it, no, fuck.
Like there's somebody in the back just like, damn.
Okay, so then we saw the OC for the first time, the new name for the club. They got their new shirts. They said they're the only club that matters, and how they said they're gonna make a statement tonight. Okay,
I'm over here crying,
dying. It's clearly like the show The OC, and I'll be honest with you. I saw the report last week that said that WWE had trademarked were trying to trademark the OC, and I thought it was gonna be for some like Orange County like tag team or like a thing.
You see, I'm in tears.
Yeah, when they started calling themselves the OC, I just thought to myself, is the whole creative team? Did nobody say?
Nobody. But there's a show.
Very popular show that ran for decades. Called the OC.
California. Like there's a show. I was like, wait, somebody had to stop. AJ was like, somebody in the back was like, can I talk to you for a second? I just want you to know what you think.
Like Adam Brody. You never heard of Adam Brody? Misha Martin?
Rachel
Bilson?
Ben McKenzie.
Yeah, he's the one that didn't get as much love afterwards. Ben McKenzie, that was the other one.
Ended up becoming Jim Gordon on Gotham Show. Nobody cared for. But anyway, like, AJ, Carl.
That's funny I say that, but yeah, I guess he still is acting more than the other ones.
He is. Like,
Misha Martin's just on the hills now, which makes no sense. No sense. She walks around the show acting like she was like part of it.
Like she was a star.
Misha Martin, I know that you're not LC, right? You're not Lauren Conrad. Stop it, Misha Martin.
Do the hands up. Bring it down.
Bring it down, Misha.
But it's just, I get what they're trying to do. This is their shot at the elite.
And owning it, too. Fine. The club was theirs. We're the OC.
We're the only club that, and which, I get what you're doing. If that's your way of firing back, that one is a soft fire back that's a miss. Because it's more of a joke now than anything else. And the problem is, those shirts got sold last night. Remember when the Viking Raiders were the Viking experience, ladies and gentlemen, and a week later that changed.
And the worst part is that shirt's dope too. And that's what frustrated me, is the shirt is dope, but it also says the OC at the top.
It says the OC.
You can't not look at that and go, that just says the OC in huge letters. It looks like a Japanese knockoff of like the OC's cover or something like that. Like
somebody was like, yo, MTV done got goth. Like, that's how you...
MTV done got goth.
Like, that's how you feel. And it's going to be interesting to see what they do next week. If they are still the OC, why they just weren't the club, I don't.
The club was fine. No one had a problem with it.
No one had a problem with the club. We knew why you were the club, the OC. And I know I'm going to get some flack from some of the guys and the girls I know. They go tweet or text me and be like, you bogus. But you know damn well I'm right.
There's no one that's going to do it, because I tweeted that, and I tweeted it 2 different times last night. One, just like, hey, is anyone going to call this out? Like, is anyone going to mention this, that was a show for a very long time? And there was maybe a max of like 5 responses, just like, I didn't notice it. And the rest were all just like, you totally noticed it, definitely thought that. My wife said the same thing. All just a cavalcade of everyone like, yep.
You mean to tell me Luke Gallows is not going to bring that up as much as he called nerds? Like,
I feel like it's very possible that the show The OC is not on the radar of Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, and AJ Styles.
I'm not saying the show has to be. Somebody had to tell them this.
But yes, 100%. I feel like, I hope that somebody in the creative media was like, guys, that's all anyone is going to think of. Oh. You know, that guy, he left Chino, he had to go to the OC, the whole thing.
I feel so sorry for Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows' Twitter feed right now.
As long as the OC doesn't slander the city of Chino as much as the show The OC slandered the city of Chino, I'll be okay with them, because the OC TV show really made Chino look like a bad neighborhood. And as a guy who grew up right next to Chino, and then later in life my parents had a place in Chino, it's a pretty nice neighborhood. So don't listen to the show The OC. This is my PSA, brought to you by the city of Chino. Next, Pat Patterson is shown lying on the ground with Gerald Briscoe standing over him.
The perfect way of both of the Stooges.
Great, totally.
Perfect use of the Stooges.
Totally.
I gotta stop crying, laughing, ladies and gentlemen. But it's a perfect use of the Stooges with that. And even Pat's like, you stooge, takes one to know one. It worked perfectly.
Perfect. And then we've got Briscoe start to celebrate, and sure enough, he gets pinned by K2, Kelly in the house, who becomes the first female 24/7 champion. She breaks the gender wall, ladies and gentlemen. Just like that, the women now have a mid-card title because of Kelly.
So aside from this, I do security as well, because I'm built like I just got out of prison. Might as well use this size for something. Now, I was at an event in West Hollywood where I was working, and she came in, and she's so tiny.
Yeah.
So when you see her on TV and you realize how small she is, and then you see how some people are just barely bigger than her, you're like, dear Lord. But also, credit to the cameraman in the production truck who was like, move, when she was making that cover, because of the shorts she had on. If you paid attention, she had on jean shorts that looked like she had on no underwear. So the camera literally had to swoop around, because it was the way she was covering, like it was you wanted a good shot of the pin, which of course in production you do. But when you realized what that shot was, you were like, nope.
You know what's also funny with Kelly is, you know, she's lumped in with, like, you know, the former divas, you know, of yesteryear, who are all like moms and stuff like that now. But Kelly, you forget how young she was when she was in WWE, because if you look at it, she's like almost a year younger than Charlotte, which is crazy when you think of it like that.
That was her career in her like early 20s teens.
Yeah. That's crazy to me. Like, she could legit have a run me back and just be the same age as all the other women, and it wouldn't be like, oh, who's this like old timer or something like that.
It wouldn't be, and I hate to say it this way, it wouldn't be treated like the way the fans treated Mickie James.
Well, no.
Because the fans gave Mickie James the business, and y'all are bogus for that.
But she could come in and she could pull off the, like, I'm a diva gimmick better than anyone they've ever been able to do.
Right. If you want to do that I'm a diva gimmick for WrestleMania, use Kelly.
Yeah.
Or I don't think you want to use Tori Wilson, because she's like, this is insured by
she's like, nah, I'm not messing with this
But
anymore.
I mean, you could, because of how good she looks still.
Yeah, absolutely. I also I like, well, I'll get to that part, what happens later in the night. So I love, it's funny, I thought for sure that the first female 24/7 champion was going to be like Renee Michelle.
I really thought it was going to be Renee.
Or Carmella.
I thought it would be Renee Michelle pinning Drake.
That's what I thought too. Or Carmella finally turning on R-Truth and taking the title.
Would you guys like to hear my theory of how I hope Renee would have pinned Drake? I would have loved it been their honeymoon. They're about to consummate their marriage. all of a sudden she's on top of him and a ref pops up out of nowhere on the side of the bed.
I literally said the same thing here on the recap show recently. That's exactly what I wanted to. I for sure wanted like him to be under the covers.
Yep.
And he thinks that he's about to like consummate the marriage, and then you see a ref in frame or whatever, and then she takes off the covers and pins him, or she gets on top. Like she's like, no, baby, let me get on top. And then she lays on top of him, and it's 1, 2, 3, and she goes, yeah, that's what you get. Oh, I would have loved it.
Then tell the ref, okay, you can leave now.
There's still time.
Okay,
There's still time.
There's still time.
Then Samoa Joe comes out, does what we said, similar to the heels, says, Raw reunion's a plague, all this stuff. And he doesn't like everyone coming out here. And then he complains about the Usos coming out there and spitting out limericks with Cena, when, of course, Roman Reigns comes out to defend his family. They get into, like, who's the cooler Samoan talk.
Hey, he said, you got something to say about my family? Joe said, I already said it. I was like, that's what I'm talking about.
I like when he said something. Well, he said something like,
you talk about my family, we from the same island, so you know what that means.
That's what it was. You know what happens next after that. Yeah.
He was like,
I was like, yeah, okay, I liked that.
He's like, well, so since we're gonna do this.
And then he leaves. They finally decide to wrestle, and they come back after the break. They wrestle. Decent match, nothing like too crazy, but I liked that it was hard hitting. And the spear at the end looked dope.
Yeah, that was a dope punctuation on the match. I mean, the fact that if you look at all in all with the promo, everything that happened on the match, they gave him a good amount of time. Because I could tell they were beating the hell out of each other with the brawl around, because they had to stop for a minute before the match started to catch their breath like, okay.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I also felt like the speed he had going, because it looked like he was going to do an outside dive for the finish. So he kind of like had like a lot of speed going into that spear. So that made it look cooler too. I don't want to use the words I feel bad, because he's getting used a lot, Samoa Joe. I hate seeing him lose so much, because at a certain point he's going to become like a Bray Wyatt or someone who rings hollow. His threats, his character's threats, obviously, and he's one of the best wrestlers in the company.
It's sad too, because when you saw him drop the Universal title to Ricochet, you're like, okay,
or the United States.
United States, US, you, whatever, you know what title.
I knew what you were talking about.
United States title to Ricochet. You were like, okay, we're putting him in another program. Then you go to Kofi, and I was like, this would be somebody I wouldn't mind, because we've teased this for so long. We've teased Joe being at this point where he can get it. Then you have him, he loses, cool. Now it's just like Joe falls around in obscurity again.
Absolutely.
And I don't want to see Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe. Granted, it was for Raw. Doesn't really matter. Get it out the way. But it's like, what do we do? Where do we put Samoa Joe? Roman Reigns will fall in a main event picture somehow, some way. But where do we put Samoa Joe? Absolutely.
And I agree with you. And it's a bummer, because I thought they were going to stretch the Joe thing out for a couple months at least. Just kind of get us through SummerSlam.
Yeah.
And then they just dropped it, and now it looks like they're going for Randy Orton, which is what it seems in the next one. So, which is fine.
I don't mind it.
Marquee name for SummerSlam against Kofi, but
I don't mind it. But again, you should have you were going to stretch. Well, they haven't really stretched out any Kofi's opponents anyway.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan had his rematch done. Then Ziggler comes.
That one stretched out the most.
That stretched out the most. Kevin Owens was there and done. Samoa Joe there and done. Orton, depending on how he feels, you could run with it or you could stretch it.
I feel like that's one where they'll just SummerSlam it.
And that's it?
That's my guess, right?
Well,
SummerSlam only a few weeks away, huh?
Said, like first, second week of August. It's not that far.
I guess maybe 2 pay-per-views out of it then.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Might get something. We're going to see Smackville happen, which, by the way, makes no sense.
That name cracked me up, too. I was like, Smackville? What? So then we had Miz TV with Seth Rollins. I felt like the Rollins promo was kind of cheesy.
I felt like it was very cheesy.
Yeah.
It felt like a promo.
Yeah, it's a good way of wording it, yeah.
Yeah, I want a promo from, this is me personally, I don't know how you guys, the listeners and the viewers feel. I need a promo to sound like it's coming from the heart.
Yep.
Like it's something you're just saying. Like when Joe talks, it's from the heart. When Kevin Owens talks, it's from the heart. Even Sami Zayn and some others. That was like, when I beat Brock Lesnar for the universe, I'm going to face all those things. It was a word for word written script. And I understand everybody is not a great talker.
And also, he had multiple things to memorize throughout the night.
I'm fine with that. But it seems so pre-programmed.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And the cheesy Brock kind of thing was kind of like, I will say that once Heyman got involved, it picked up, in my opinion. I felt like Heyman seeming all pissed off from the gorilla position getting involved, played off of like, it plays to like the smart fan. I shouldn't say the smart fan, the hardcore fan who knows that Heyman's sitting in gorilla now. I think it played off of that a little bit. Oh, that makes sense. Why he's just give me a mic, give me a mic.
Right, like he would just randomly say it. Yeah,
it felt like it made sense. And then I'm just gonna come out there. It kind of like felt real to me a little bit in a certain way. And then when he came out and Rollins started talking shit back to Heyman, that felt more natural to me when he was doing the whole
that part.
I'm gonna come out there. I want you 5 seconds to stomp your fucking face.
That worked. That worked.
100%. Yeah.
That worked. It was like you said, the stuff with the Miz, the pre-programmed, pre-written stuff that he had to follow seemingly to the letter.
Yep.
It was just when it was with Heyman, you just felt more comfortable.
Yep.
You didn't have the. I understand that when it comes to a promo, the one thing you're told by bookers and producers are, I need you to hit these points. Well, when it comes to Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar, you should know your points you're hitting already.
Yep.
You've done this.
Yep.
He snuck up on you because you snuck up on him. You got a match for the Universal title at SummerSlam. Brock is his force of nature. That's pretty much your points.
Yep. Yep.
How hard is that you've done this dance.
Yep. Yep.
And so you shouldn't sound robotic with it. That's just me.
Absolutely. No, I completely agree. So then we've got Charlie Cruiser. She's back at the reunion party backstage.
Who has been working out heavily.
Yeah, she's been killing it.
Yo, shouts out to Charlie's arm.
She's ready to punch someone for sure. So then she's ready to introduce the legends. Sami comes in. I loved his line here where he said, this episode of Raw, it's like watching the Attitude Era through the Face app.
Through the Face app.
Which cracked me up. Which, by the way, don't use that Face app. It's like tied to Russia or whatever, and it's like no disrespect to Russia, but they've got like all these things where it says they can just use your image for whatever they want. If you got
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, any other social media profile, a driver's license, a passport, you might as well just give up at this point.
You might as well just give up. Just give your info to the internet.
It's out there already. I mean, I get everybody's like, I don't want Russia having my picture. You're on Facebook.
It's not the Russia part to me. It's the part where it says that says if you use this, they have the right to use all the images from your camera roll in perpetuity forever for whatever reason they want.
Hey man, so y'all just worry about your nudes hitting up the DMs, huh?
Or think how pissed you'll be if there's a big ass advertisement in Times Square for Face App with your face on it.
Oh well, I was the dude that looked like Ving Rhames post third divorce. That was me. That was me.
So then Sami Zayn complains about the Face App or whatever. About all these guys looking like they're in the Face App. Rey Mysterio shows up to defend his fellow legends. Match is made for later. Kelly then is shown excitedly telling Melina, Candice, Michelle, and Naomi that she won the 24/7 title. Melina says that she's been training, that she finally got her license. License to do what? Be a referee, bitches. And then Candice Michelle pins her, loses the 24/7 title.
By the way, shout out to Candice Michelle being in. I don't know if that was regular clothes or wrestling gear.
Oh, that was definitely her wrestling gear.
I mean, the way it looked, it was like you were ready to do this. Like, didn't nobody see Candice Michelle in some gear and some boots and just think, this is awkward?
Yeah, unlike Cena, that's just not lying around a drawer backstage somewhere. The like one piece thing.
What if Candice Michelle just happens to show back up? We need something. Don't stand by. That's not happening.
My girlfriend said the same thing while watching the movie. She was like, that is an outfit that lady had
right.
on. She also didn't know Candice Michelle. So then she loses the title, but then Alundra Blaze shows up, hits Candice from behind. Now she's the 24/7 title. Put a pause in that for later in the night. By the way, I loved when Alundra Blaze said, I'm the 24 champion. No, you're not. That's Kiefer Sutherland. That's Jack Bauer. Don't disrespect
and Dennis
Jack
Haysbert.
Yeah, that guy too.
You're going to give it to the president. I was like, somebody didn't tell her what the full title name was. Like, somebody just told her, look at the bell real quick. That's what you're going to hold. 24 champion? No, there's a 7 in this. There's a 7 in this. You need to say Alundra.
Then we get Rey Mysterio versus Sami Zayn. Quick match here, 5 minutes, but what we saw was cool. I would love to see more from the two of these guys. I knew when it got announced, I was like, oh, this is probably going to be another segment with Legends, so I'm not going to get my hopes up. And that's what happened. You know, Zayn avoids a 619, rolls to the outside when lo and behold, Rob Van Dam shows up.
Who was higher than giraffe vagina. Like, Rob Van Dam came in like he had just smoked a forest.
And I like that they made a joke of it later in the night. With the Street Profits, because I didn't expect them, like, this dude came out just like, hey, right, cool, yeah.
Like, Rob probably was like, I'm at a Comic-Con. No, you're on Raw. He was so high.
Hey, man, is this San Diego? Where's the beach, man?
Dude, like he was stretching everything. Like, so I go in there and I do a frog splash. No, Rob, you don't go near the ring. Why not? Why not? Because, Rob, you're inebriated. I'm just high. Rob, that's inebriated.
Just go talk to Bill. Bill Alfonso is around here somewhere.
Bill Alfonso's not coming.
Bill Alfonso's at his 9 to 5 right now, Rob. Calm down.
He's at a nursing home. He's not
actually, Bill Alfonso looks really good. I saw him in a picture. But yeah, the joke worked, obviously.
Thank you. It was Rob Van Dam,
Hurricane, Sergeant Slaughter, and Kurt Angle, who all made an appearance. They all get him back in the ring. I saw Meltzer reported, and I believe it, that a lot of these guys didn't pass the medical process for like WWE's clearance, you know, to be cleared by WWE. And that's why a lot of these Legend segments didn't involve any physicality whatsoever. Because like you said, I'm sure he showed up like, hey, I'll do a 5-star frog splash. They were like, no, you're not gonna do a 5-star frog splash.
Kurt can't turn his neck like this without having to shift his whole body.
Yeah.
So Kurt, it was like, Kurt, you already know you're a no.
Yeah.
Don't you even bring no boots.
Don't even bring your boots.
Don't you even bring your boots. You better just bring some clothes. Sergeant Slaughter got his stuff just sitting in the back. I'm ready to go in.
That's what he wears.
He just wears.
That's just what he wears everywhere.
He's in the back in production. They be like, you know, you can take them camos and fatigues off. You know.
He's like, at ease, soldier.
Like, you are not a real sergeant.
So then we got Angelo Dawkins, like we said, with Street Profits. Talking about we got high with Rob Van Dam backstage. Well, alluding to the fact that he got high backstage with Rob Van Dam, which I loved. I was like, instantly, oh, cool. Dawkins, that guy, new favorite wrestler in the company. Cool.
Putting eye drops in was like,
it's like he passed. It's like Rob Van Dam passed the torch to Dawkins, and I'm cool with that. You know
what they did though? That they didn't do. Excuse me, that they normally do. You didn't hear the "We want the smoke."
No, they didn't.
They made sure that did not.
Which it would have been very tiny.
It would have been perfect in this one. I was like,
hey, bro, I could have been there. We want the smoke. You know, like you know.
They was like, nope, we're not doing that.
So then Alundra Blaze comes out like she's gonna throw away the 24/7 title, a la the women's title from WCW, which she did on WCW back in the day. But the $1 Million Man comes out, makes a transaction to buy it from her.
First of all, can we talk about this transaction with this fake money? Somebody forgot to tell Ted, you can't fan all this out. You can't. I was like, oh. First of all, he had a hard time pulling it out. And it was like, you fanned out like 3 or 4 that looked real. It was all white. I was like, somebody didn't tell Ted not to do this. Like, no.
I honestly didn't even notice that, but I 100% believe that's the case.
I saw it. I was like, oh. But then I was mad when Ted DiBiase came out. I was like, y'all couldn't get Virgil. He is sitting at an empty convention hall somewhere.
Oh, you know he was sitting out front of the arena just like with his table. You know?
One of my buddies, Mark Donica, was like, they paid Virgil to not show up. I was like,
okay, so then we had the OC come back out with their full entrance that says the OC on the Titantron. I don't know if you saw it, but I was pretty proud of myself. I added the California song to it.
Oh, yeah. Because it belongs.
It fit perfect to it. When it does like that first breakdown, the California, and it has like, and when he went out, it worked perfect.
And you see on the top Titantron, the only club that matters. Like,
I'm if it hasn't happened yet, I'm shocked that Tama Tonga hasn't said anything yet. And if he hasn't, it's only because he's such good friends with Carl Anderson.
It has to be.
Because Carl Anderson did start it, so like. But Luke and AJ didn't, So it's not saying the original club. I guess they're saying the only club. That's what OC is supposed to stand for, right?
Yeah, but they said original too.
They did say, that's what I've been confused by. Because original doesn't make sense. The only club,
that makes a whole lot of sense.
I'm into that. That means you're just cocky and stuff. I'm into that.
I'm fine with that.
That's just like the elite. The elite, we're like the elite of the Bullet Club.
Yeah, right. That's the elite. The only club, yes. The original club, like,
no. Unless you're going to add Finn to it.
Which I'm hoping that...
If you got 2 out of 3, you can call it.
You can call it.
You can call it, you know? Yeah, exactly.
You're
2 out of 3, what's Tom going to say, you know?
I'm good. I'm good with this.
I'm like, Tom, we brought you into this, so you know what I mean?
Oh, my God.
So then we had AJ Styles versus Seth Rollins. This one, okay, so
Did you expect more out this match?
No, I mean, I'm more so just... Okay, so here's what happened afterwards. We have the OC tease like they're gonna beat up Rollins. Then DX music's hit. Triple H and Shawn Michaels come out, stand on opposite side of Rollins while glaring at the OC. So you got this like what could be new DX against the club.
I'll tell you my whole problem with that. But let's go on to the next part that happened.
And then you know the match is stopped or whatever. So then they get in the ring and they're standing next to Rollins, and then the OC do the too sweet thing, and it's almost like Shawn Michaels and Triple H, they can't resist a too sweet
because it's on their shirt.
Because it's on their shirts. So how can we not do this? So they come over like they're gonna do it, but instead they crotch chop and they start fighting. And I'm sorry, Shawn Michaels' punches looked rough here, and I love Shawn Michaels. He's probably my favorite wrestler of all time, but he clearly didn't want to be wrestling there because he was doing this like not punch, thinking that the cameras weren't really on him, and he was front and center instead, and everyone kind of dips out, and then the OC come back with chairs, and they're gonna fight with chairs, but lo and behold, the New Age Outlaws come out. Well, the New Age Outlaws, because we don't have Billy, so...
Which again...
Was just like the Devon thing. It's like, no, you know that we know X-Pac isn't the other New Age Outlaw, right?
You can't fake this.
You can't fake that, like...
I will give Road Dogg credit when he did the promo and said, I forgot Billy, which I'm glad... I'm glad he acknowledged it, but I was like, okay... Then it got worse.
Yeah. So, and then he's there with the clique. You got the Outsiders there. We got Diesel and Razor.
I was like, oh no, don't do this. Don't do this.
And Nash looks like he can't be bothered to be there. Like he's kind of like going through the motions because he's being paid to be there. But even like when they're all doing suck it and stuff, he's not really doing it. And also I want to say this much. We're nitpicking now because this is what the show is supposed to be, and this is what people want from these shows. If you look at it from like a very much like a technical standpoint, you're gonna shit on this, obviously. It's gonna make no sense. But if you just like look at it with like, oh, this is fun to see DX and NWO standing side by side opposing Bullet Club, it was fun in that aspect to me, because I was like hyped, like, oh yeah, look at that, DX, NWO, blah blah. And they're not gonna get cleared, so it's not like you're gonna see DX it's not like you're gonna see the club take a chair to Scott Hall and Kevin Nash or all those guys, you know. So it's like, it is what it is, but you know, it is frustrating when you see them, they're all out. You know, he says, let me introduce you to the OGs, and then the OC backs down, and they kind of like ended it a little bit there. Rollins, there's a big group hug without Rollins, so everyone hugs while Rollins is standing looking on sad from the side because he's not part of that group.
I want to play.
I want to be in that hug, the click hug, you know?
And then the whole, you do the honors. You don't ever give Seth Rollins that mic again. I said, what? Oh, I mean, I end up presenting like, no. Okay, here's what I had the number one issue.
Okay.
We are not finna have DX, namely Triple H, stand with Seth Rollins like this is okay. Like this is okay. Nobody else saw this. Like the King Slayer and Triple H is just like, I'm here. No.
I'm with you in that regard. I will say the nostalgia factor did make me drop that, because you're right. I do bitch a lot when Seth Rollins and Triple H are homies, because I'm like, guys,
WrestleMania.
There's a whole big history between the two of you where you fucking hate each other. So you're right. Okay. In that regard, I will say, okay, yeah, you're right. The nostalgia factor maybe did have me overlook that. That is a little bit silly. Yeah.
Because I was like, I would have liked to see, and Triple H and Shawn Michaels are great at this, acknowledging situations that they shouldn't be in and playing off of it. Like, I would have liked to see Triple H look at Shawn like, we had a match. And then Shawn just be like, well, we had matches. Then it'd all be cool. Something like, you see what I'm saying? You acknowledge it, open it up, boom, we're good.
Triple H just goes, no, it's different because I have a DX shirt on.
You're not the CO right now.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I don't have a suit on. I have a DX shirt on. I've got a glow stick in my pocket. I'm cool now.
I want to say shout out to the WWE for printing out shirts just for last night. Just for last night.
And RVD foam fingers.
And RVD.
Just for that quick appearance.
Just for RVD not to even see the fingers. Why? Because his eyes were too damn low.
One positive I think that I could, if they go in this direction, that I saw here was the very end, a little unspoken part where when the club were leaving, they yelled at Shawn Michaels.
You think I won't come down there?
And they said, we know where you work. You don't think we won't come down there? And there was the rumors that if NXT goes to Fox Sports in the fall, which is 2 months away, that they'll utilize some of the main roster talent on there to kind of help build it up a little bit, similar to when NXT first started. And dude, if they're building up to Undisputed Era versus the club in NXT, that would be badass.
And I do not, and I'm going to tell you this right now, and I know some people going to hate me for saying this, they better not put the Undisputed Era over.
Oh, hell no.
They better not.
And I love the Undisputed Era too, but you got to get the club over there.
Yeah, because you know some people are like, well, the Undisputed Era's got to go over. You're going to have Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish beat AJ Styles, Carl Anderson, and Luke Gallows just because it's NXT?
Oh, when you say it like that, though, they might. You never know. I mean, Triple H comes, Shawn Michaels come running in with the
all of a sudden.
But also, if you throw Finn Balor in that match,
which I'm hoping so much that that's what they're gonna do with him eventually, because he's getting, I hate to say it this way, he's getting stale.
Absolutely.
So he needs that in, and he's never been a heel.
And it would bring a whole different element to the OC.
It would bring him over to the club, which everybody's been like, well, we just won't do that. What are y'all waiting for? I understand Vince was high on him. I understand that. But then we realize how accident prone he is and injury prone. So you're like, okay, put him in a place where he can be safe. And it also works for everybody involved.
Yeah, everyone wins if they do that.
Everybody wins.
Absolutely. So then we have Teddy DiBiase. He gets into a limo, but of course, Drake Maverick emerged from the limo. He beat him in the limo for the title.
I hate whoever was on sound effects in the production truck.
It definitely sounded like an old cartoon, like a boo, 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 bang, boom, bang. But yeah, so then he comes out and then he gets chased away. So Mick Foley's in the ring, cutting a promo, talking about, first he starts cutting the promo. The 24/7 title train comes running through the cavalcade of people. He goes, oh, let me get it, and they go through. But then he starts talking about one of his favorite matches, and that's obviously when he won the title. When it cuts back to him, though, we get the lights going out one by one for Bray Wyatt again. And then Bray Wyatt is in the ring and uses the mandible claw on Mick Foley.
If that is his new finisher, if that was Foley giving it to the Fiend, I'm fine with that.
I felt the same way, to be honest with you.
I
was like, you know what? I'm into him doing it. He's got the gloves.
He's got the glove. If Foley is giving the Fiend the mandible claw and that was a passing of the torch of it, let us have it.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. As much as I'm like, oh, let the finishers from the past stay with those people or whatever. You don't need this is the scary guy, so he has Mick Foley's finisher. This is the person of the people, so she's got the rock bottom. This is the guy who's anti-authority, so he's got the stunner. I get it. It helps paint a picture or whatever, but I would be cool with it. I mean, this is the mandible claw is something where he's really the only one that's really ever
Nobody's ever done it. That's what I'm saying.
It's a cool move. It is a cool move when done right and looks sketchy because like a man's hand in your mouth
and
is like pushing down. Like
and that's what I'm saying. Nobody else has done it.
Yeah.
And to see that, first of all, if you have not realized how terrifying that Fiend mask is with those contacts, it works. It works.
Also, I feel like the mandible claw is less sacred because I feel like he became more sacred when it became Sacco. And Sacco doesn't necessarily look like the mandible claw.
Not at all.
Because he's just sticking the sock in your mouth.
That's all.
Even though he does it the same way, probably. It just doesn't, because of the sock, it looks like a dirty sock in your mouth. The mandible claw, like the thought of a guy like sticking his 2 fingers down on
your mandible jaw.
Fucking really painful. Yeah. So I think it's a little less sacred. So yeah, I'm with you on that regard.
Yeah.
And it looks cool again. I think they're doing a really good job of these attacks from Bray Wyatt.
And it's in and out. There's no saying anything. It's in and out. Now what I need is Bray Wyatt to talk again.
I'm into that.
I need Bray Wyatt to kind of address it like, yowie, wowie. What was, like, I need the Bray Wyatt, Mr. Rogers guy to come out now and be like, I don't know the Fiend. He just does what he wants.
Yeah, I want some explanation too to connect the two things.
Yeah, because we know that Bray is the Fiend and, the hurt and heal and all those things.
Yep.
But now let's have Bray Wyatt talk. Let's have this new Bray Wyatt talk.
I almost wonder if, because did we see Finn Balor after the attack?
Nope.
I'm almost wondering if we're going to see he's bringing them all to the funhouse. Like, we're going to see a segment where Bray is in the funhouse with like a weird Finn and like a weird Mick Foley or something like that.
I would be happy for it.
Like he's slowly taking people back to the funhouse or something like that. I don't know. That would be cool though if they go in that direction.
Well, I mean,
because I agree with you. We need some connective tissue.
Yeah, between the two of them. But I would guess because Finn's supposed to be taking the time off after SummerSlam.
Yeah.
So don't give us Finn versus Bray, because what we know what it means is Bray will win. So in Survivor Series we can have Demon versus Fiend. And yeah, it'll build up, whatever. But let's just play this out a little bit longer.
I'm into that.
I'm playing. Let's play this out. Let's see how this goes. Yeah, we spent so long with the Firefly Funhouse to everybody being like, I need to see him.
Yep.
Till the debut last week, and then now this attack. We're gonna keep getting attacks, but I definitely want to see Bray Wyatt address it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I'm running out of time before I see them pop in there. But we had the moment of Bliss thing. It was whatever. It was with Becky Lynch. Talia came out. They bickered a little bit to build up their match at SummerSlam. Nothing too groundbreaking there.
Yeah.
Then R-Truth pins Drake Maverick finally to end the night. And the image of like Renee in the limo and Drake like, no, help me. And he's like trying to hold on to his woman so he can finally consummate the marriage. The show's almost over. He just got to make it a few more minutes. Can't do it. Gets pinned. And then R-Truth jumps in the limo with his wife and drives off. Love it. Obviously, I can't wait to see where they go with this. And I like the now maybe possible pairing of Carmella and Drake. Could be fun if they kind of like reverse it now. Yeah. That'll be fun. So then we have Braun Strowman versus Randy Rowe in 40 minutes. Quick squash, but man, he tossed that dude around. He ruined that man.
Bro said, this is going to be quick.
That was so good, yeah.
Said, don't blink. This gave him 2 bills that made that man get higher than he's ever been off his feet, probably, outside of an airplane.
Totally. My dad texted me after watching it, and he said, whoever thinks wrestling is fake needs to talk to Randy Rowe, who is probably still in the hospital. Because he's just like tossing him around.
Randy Rowe is now accepting hellified indie bookings based off of the fact he was the guy that got tossed by Braun Strowman on Raw Reunion.
And I will say this much before we move on to the last segment here, before we gotta get out of here. I do like that they're getting back to basics with Braun. People liked Braun initially because he was beating up jobbers like Ellsworth and that other guy who said he likes sweaty men or whatever. People liked Braun because he was destroying things. And they're doing that again. They had him destroy the thing with that segment with Bobby Lashley and had to build up to a match. They're putting him with enhancement talent again. I think these are smart decisions to get Braun back to where he was.
Yeah, and it's to calm him down too behind the scenes.
Yes.
Because he had messed his own push-up for a while. You heard about that. So you got to get him to refocus himself. He's lost a lot of weight. He's gotten in the best shape he's been in.
He's so cut.
He's so cut and leaned up. So now let's see where this goes and where this builds up.
Yeah, that video of him eating 6 pounds of food in 10 minutes the other day was so impressive. 6 pounds in 10. Could you do that, you think?
No, I can barely eat a pound of food anymore because now I'm being half vegan and my stomach is shrunk.
You're vegan now?
Vegan-ish.
Vegan-ish?
I'm 97% the way there. 98.
Oh, how is it?
It's a struggle because it costs more to be vegan.
How long have you been doing it?
Since I got out the hospital last February when I almost died.
Well, that's a good reason to switch to being vegan. So then Ric Flair comes out. Everyone's cheering for Ric Flair. Then they hit the Hogan music. And, there's a lot of like bowing to Hogan, and they're like all rocking out on stage to his music, and it was a little much.
It was I understand they're in Tampa. I get that part, but it was you gave Flair his moment, but you did way more for Hogan. Like, we've seen Hogan on TV before. This isn't like Hogan's just coming back. Like, give him the same amount of time.
It's not like he almost died like Ric Flair.
Flair almost died.
He said something racist.
And
it's very different.
Flair almost died. Now, Flair being there should be like, yes, thank God you made it.
Everyone's like, yeah, thank God you made it. Not like, oh, thank God you said sorry for that you've returned to us after saying something racist. Bow down to the almighty Hulk Hogan. It just looked weird.
It looked weird. Like I said, I just don't think the time. They gave him longer in the adulation and even the promo than Flair. And granted, Flair probably didn't want to talk. But I don't think we needed all that.
No, and like you said, the Hogan thing was long, like where they were literally just sitting there playing his music and everyone was like dancing along to it. And I'm like, hey guys, can you hit Stone Cold's music?
Right,
that's what I need.
Because everybody's just waiting on Austin's music. Like, we're just waiting on the glass.
There's only 6 minutes left. Can you hit Stone Cold's music?
Hit the glass.
I was worried they were going to do that thing they did last time where he wasn't going to talk again.
Yep.
I was so scared of that. Luckily, that didn't happen. Stone Cold's music comes out. He obviously showed that he is the GOAT, in my opinion. He comes out and just like, there's nothing like Stone Cold, man. Like,
telling stories,
just coming out there and just like, he's like, as much as like The Rock is famous or whatever, I just feel like Stone Cold is so much more embodies wrestling, Like The Rock became a movie star, and granted, Stone Cold is in the mainstream as well, but Stone Cold's largely in the mainstream for being Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
The Rock has done all these movies now; he's a Hollywood movie star or whatever. But this Stone Cold was just like Stone Cold in his fucking best, just like best form, coming out there and just like loving the boys, talking about travel on the road. This is a family.
My brothers and my sisters. You out there watching? You're part of the WWE family too.
It's just like you're like, yeah. We are your family, Stone Cold.
Can I borrow $20? We're that type of family.
And I enjoyed it. I also, man, I loved the part at the end where he's like, how much time we got left? So let me tell you about this story about Jared Briscoe in South Africa.
We did some things illegal that would have got us arrested, but Briscoe's... What?
Oh, I loved it. I loved it so much. Like, I loved it. It was just classic Stone Cold. You're just like, yeah, man, like, you're the man, Stone Cold.
This is what you do.
Yeah, like, you're like, because it's like, he's going over, he doesn't care. He's like, oh, Vince has to pay an extra $100,000 because he went over an hour. Let me tell you about South Africa, And so you're just like, yeah.
They're wrapping me up. Okay, let's get some beers in here. Yo, Stone Cold Steve Austin needs to go in the Hall of Fame for the most beers caught flawlessly ever.
No. The guy who used to throw him the beers, Mark Eaton, who was the timekeeper, that guy needs to go in the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, because he always threw them flawlessly.
He always threw them so flawlessly.
And
he is so far away too. You'd see him like halfway across the ring, over the ring, and Austin just out of the air like nothing.
Hurricane, for a superhero, you drop 2 beers, you need to be fired.
Also, I'm sad that they cut off when they did, because apparently after the show went off the air, he did like a beer bath to Lillian again too.
Oh,
there's a video that they posted on Instagram. I saw. But yeah, all right, we gotta get out of here before. I'm shocked they haven't waved me out of here yet. Jay, where can people find you on the
Twitter,
internet?
Instagram at Mr. J Washington, MRJAY. You should know how to spell Washington. And check out the Mad Titan podcast, where I get you caught up on everything happening in the Marvel and DC live action cinematic universes, barbershop talk for nerds, as well as the Wrestling Compadre Slamcast radio, Wrestling Compadre Slamcast on Dragon Wagon Radio.
Yeah,
there you go.
Get it. See, that's actually perfect that I brought up so much Marvel stuff during this show. It actually tied all around to your other shows to help promote that one as well. So, you saw how knowledgeable he was. He was chopping stuff that I didn't even know he was talking about, to be honest with you, on that one part. At Wrestling Sheet on social media, ProWrestlingSheet.com. That's where you can find all the top stories in the world of professional wrestling throughout the week. I'm at Ryan Satin on social media, youtube.com/C/Wrestling Sheet. That's where you can find all the videos that we do here, the Raw and Smackdown recaps and Wrestling Sheet Radio specifically. But if you just want to listen while you're driving via podcast, working out, doing whatever, just search Wrestling Sheet Radio on all the major podcast platforms. Okay, that's it. We're done. Officially tapping out for now. Until next time, stay out of the dirt and keep your eye on the sheet.